Going to come, but my daughter won't let me. There's a mother who had a 20-year-old daughter. She said, look what happened to Sophia's arm. And she showed her the pictures. And thankfully, I haven't seen the pictures, but I understand that they're fairly horrific. We need everyone in this country to step up and say, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to kill innocent people. Everyone has to just say no. We can't be throwing grenades at people who are peacefully protesting or singing and chanting and supporting our indigenous nations. This is not the way we behave. This is not Afghanistan. It's not Iraq. We don't throw grenades at people and water cannons to have them, get the hydro. I'm sorry, I lost the word, but hypotherapy. They are shooting bullets. She's got bullet shots all over her. She's got welts from these bullets that are pretty significant. And she went back, even after she was shot 14 times, she went back in and said, I'm going to support the native people and try as hard as she could. They are intentionally blocking ambulances from getting to the site. So one of the reasons that could hamper her healing process is that it took her 6 to 8 hours to get to a hospital where they could do this kind of surgery, because they don't have any access to the roads. They've stopped people from getting through. They have a truck blocking a bridge so that ambulances can't get through to where they need to get through to. People have to call their senators, call their assemblymen and say, no, we can't stop people from being treated who are innocent people singing and praying. That's not the way we are in America. And I don't know what else to say, but please give us your prayers.
Did she tell you what happened?
Intentionally, a police officer threw a grenade that hit her right in her forearm and exploded right as it hit her forearm. There are many witnesses, and they have shrapnel. They said the sheriff's office said that they did it to themselves. They blew up their own bombs or something. That's ridiculous. The doctors, I spoke to the surgeon himself directly. They took shrapnel out of her arm, so it's pretty clear that it was a grenade, and they're going to save that shrapnel. It's going to stay in pathology until it's needed. There's proof, there's evidence that our government is throwing grenades at our people who are there peacefully protesting.
Did you say your name? You didn't say that.
Wayne Wolanski. My daughter, Sophia Wolanski.
How old is she?
She's 21. Just graduated from Williams College just a few months ago. A bright future ahead of her.
What do you say to encourage others to go and stand with the indigenous people?
I think I encourage everyone who can go to just go. It doesn't have to be there. Stand up anywhere. Your local assemblyman, your local senator, make the phone calls. Bombard people with phone calls. If all you can do is make a phone call, make the phone call. Call people. Tell them that this is un-American what we're doing to the native people. It's just, once again, we're going to brutalize the native people. We haven't done enough over the last 500 years.
The police are saying that the explosion might have been practiced.
So this had nothing. We have pictures of the grenades. There's no question as to what happened. All of the arteries and all of the muscle that supports her arm, it just blew out. It wasn't caused by a fire or anything else. This was a grenade. This is a weapon of war.
Have the doctors given you any sense of what the chances are that she's going to be able to maintain her arm?
It's a very, very long process. And if she maintains the arm,
Earlier protests around this issue?
yes, she is very much against the fact that we are using fracked gas and that we're destroying the climate. I mean, obviously, everyone around the world, except apparently our president, knows, our next president, knows that climate change is real and devastating, and she's there trying to save the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. Because without planet Earth, we're not going to do very well.
When has she arrived?
For her injuries.
Who does she hold responsible for injuries?
Who is responsible for her injuries?
I think I hold the governor of North Dakota, the police, the National Guard, whoever is in control of that area. I think that they knew what was coming. Even President Obama, who I love, said 3 weeks ago, well, we're going to wait and see. There's nothing more to wait and see. These people need help. They need to defuse the situation before people die. And people will die if the situation isn't stopped. That's pretty clear.
When did she go to?
She was there for 3 weeks. She was planning to stay throughout the whole winter. She got a 35-degree below sleeping bag, and she was planning to support them through the North Dakota winter. Is that all? There's a pipeline in New York where they're running a pipeline next to Indian Wells nuclear power plant. It's like 100 yards away. They're running a pipeline, which seems insane. So she protested that. Some other pipelines, frack gas pipelines in Massachusetts. And, she's obviously very much in support of trying to limit the amount of fracked energy that's taken from the ground, because we don't need it, and all it's going to do is create more and more havoc on the planet.
How long is she expected to stay here at HCMC?
I can't, no, weeks, perhaps months.
She was airlifted here yesterday.
She was airlifted here yesterday, yeah. I tried to rush her to a team that had vascular surgeons that could handle this kind of surgery, and like I said before, because of the delays, it complicates the whole healing process. If she got here 3-4 hours earlier, it would have been a little bit better prognosis, I think. Can I stop?
Don't know when the snow is going to hit us big time, but bring some warm clothing with you. And when the hospital found out about that, they called me and wanted to move us over to the Elliott Park over here. And I told them, no, she's not in Elliott Park, she's in the hospital here. And that's where we want to be, with our prayers and our music and our songs. And let her know that we're here in 100% support of this young lady, this V.A.A, I call her, this young warrior woman, who is not even thinking about herself. She's thinking about the children and unborn generations to come. It's not about us anymore. It's not about the movement. It's not about us as adults. We've lived our life. It's about our children. It has no, world doesn't have any discrimination. If it gets into the water, an oil lake there, with a river that flows down, runs into the Mississippi River, all the way down New Orleans. Across America and around the world, the whole world is watching us, watching what is taking place at Standing Rock. And so we have to stand together in total support of one another and those that are crying out for help, especially the women and the children. So I want to ask Mitch Wackenock, he's put some time there. Mitch is well known in our community, and I'd like to have him say a few words here.
I'd just like to reiterate what the people have said about the clear description of what Energy Transfer Partners, the company that's laying the pipeline, is doing, and a lot of what they are doing is illegal. And he said that what's happening at Standing Rock with the peaceful demonstrators is that they are spearheading the movement away from our dependence on oil to alternative energy. And we need to focus on that. At the same time, there need to be criminal charges filed against Sheriff Kyle Kirchmeyer or Kirchlier, whichever you prefer, and Governor Jack Dalrymple. And if these officers can be identified, for instance, the officer that threw the grenade at this young lady can be identified, there needs to be charges against them as well. And so, to this young lady,
She was already involved in issues like this with her mother and her family with the American Indian movement. So I'd like to ask Lisa to say a few words with you.
Bonjour, Bijowains and Bijanitas. My Ojibwe name is Young Lynx Woman. I am with the American Indian movement for my entire life, as my uncle stated, and also I'm currently a board member for the International Indian Treaty Council. First of all, I'd like to talk to you as an Ojibwe woman, an Ojibwe grandmother, and state how we, as Ojibwe people, it is our responsibility as women to care and protect the water. And so we are here to stand with Sophia and her family to support her as she has done that work for us. She is a water protector and a human rights defender. And so we honor Sophia in that way for standing with us to protect that sacred lifeblood of Mother Earth. But this issue is not just Ojibwe, it's not just Dakota, it's not just Standing Rock. It is not just native lands, it is Mother Earth. It is the water, the lifeblood of Mother Earth. And we must remember that. The press is trying to say, oh, it's just Standing Rock, and why is all this fuss over just maybe a burial grounds? Can't they move them? No, this is not just Standing Rock. This is a water supply for many people. In fact, of most of South Dakota, through the Minuichoni Rural Water Project. Water is piped directly from south of that point, from the Missouri River to most of South Dakota, because of their water was contaminated in the early 70s with exploration drilling. And if you think about where the water flows from there, from the Missouri, it flows right into the Mississippi, and will feed directly into that dead zone that we are already concerned about down in the Gulf area prior to the Gulf. This is not just Standing Rock, friends and relatives. This is Minnesota, or one of the America's, or this country's major water sources that we are protecting. And how do our governments, how did they go from Hennepin County to North Dakota? So, we must ask the question, is the oil pipeline the disaster and the crisis situation? Is federal dollars being used to go out and harm our people of all nations? Friends, the father, Wayne, he told us we need to make those phone calls. We need to call our representatives, and they need to stop allowing the EMAC misuse and abuse to terrorize those water protectors up there who are trying to stop and to save that beautiful water. And The world is watching. What news channels are here now? This will go international, I promise you. And we, with the International Indian Treaty Council, they sent me a very long press release, and if you give me your card, I'll email it to you, and it will be on our website at iitc.org. But some of the international work that we have done to date, I just want to skim over and highlight that. We have organized and arranged visits from the Special Rapporteur who came to Standing Rock to witness for themselves the human rights violations that are taking place there against the environment as well as the people. On November 15th, there was a report submitted to the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to peaceful assembly. And his response, which hit the Washington Post, law enforcement officials, private security firms, and the North Dakota National Guard up to that time as unjustified and excessive force. This is coming directly from United Nations delegates and representatives. So we're in the process of bringing in Chief Edward John, Grand Chief Edward John, who is with the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. The submission highlighted a number of human rights violations, requested that these human rights mandate holders call upon the United States to uphold its commitment, including the tribe's right to free and prior informed consent under the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty.